What's up, gang? Hope you're doing well. I know we're a little late, but trying to do my TNC predictions today. It's currently December 6th right now in Australia, where I'm at. It's 1:23 p.m. I mean, technically, it's still the 5th, depending on where you're at in America. So by the time I get this uploaded, hopefully it makes some sort of sense. Also, it's still boiling hot here. It is summer in Australia, so I'm sweating. It's hot while you guys are freezing your buns off. But yeah, basically want to give my quick predictions. I don't think they're going to be as accurate as whenever I did the OTD Ball is Life predictions. And that's only just because I haven't seen majority of these guys play in person. Actually, I haven't seen any of these guys play in person. So we have done breakdowns of all but one of the players, all but two of the players, sorry. So I have seen them enough. I think we'll be okay. But yeah, I want to get my predictions because everybody's asking for them. So Ryan versus Jayloo. Free game, by the way. This one's going to be super exciting. I actually have, I think it's one of those things, right? We talked about this where sometimes it's exciting watching players who aren't necessarily the top guys. Like they're not being debated for number one spot, but every time you step on that court, you got something to prove. I think they're like, it's funny. Ryan's like the new version of Jayloo. Everyone loves watching him play. Super flashy. The issue is, I don't think Ryan, I haven't seen him play good defense yet. Not saying he's not capable. I just haven't seen it in any of the games we broke down. Whereas Jayloo, typically I don't see good defense from him, but we broke down that game, him versus Moon. And for the last like 6 possessions, he was locking up. So I do think if Jayloo decides to play defense, if he decides to take this serious and lock in, which it sounds like he has been, looking at the interviews and looking at his like recent games, I think Jayloo's going to get this one. Again, I think it's a really good matchup. I think it's going to be, I don't do score predictions, but I do think it's going to be a close game just because they can both score so well. I think Ryan is a better offensive player. Jayloo, that jab three, he struggles with that triple threat three, and it's just his jump shot overall, but he can create the space whenever he wants. So if he's hitting enough shots just to force Ryan to get up close at all, and if he plays any sort of defense, I think Jayloo gets this one. Tay and C4, fellas. I'm so excited. This whole card is good. This whole card is amazing. But Tay versus C4, I'm super excited for this one. Tay is one of my favorite players to watch in general, but C4, we're definitely investing in the C4 stock. I've been watching his games lately. Again, an Oklahoma representative too. Shout out. So I think this could go just like, man, most of these games can go either way. However, I hate to say this, I'm going to go with C4 only because I think he's been recently playing overseas, but he has the experience, obviously, in the one-on-one space. So now to go overseas and be playing overseas, like he's still got the one-on-one preparation like in the back of his mind. Like he knows what it takes. He knows what he needs to be ready for this pay-per-view. Whereas Tay, I think he's been injured. Isn't this his first like real game back from injury? I could be wrong about that. I think maybe he had some in TNC League, but I think this is like, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me if if Tay wins this one. But I'm going to go C4 just because I think his jump shot is more consistent. If C4 forces Tay to play the from long range, I think it's going to give him a really good opportunity to win. But if Tay has worked on simplifying his game, if he can force C4 to deal with him, we watched that tag team one-on-one with these two, and Tay was really giving him some problems when he would go full speed one direction. That's the secret sauce to any matchup. But when Tay forced C4 to guard him, he was a problem, but then he lets him off the hook quite a bit. So I'm going to go with C4 just because of that. But as we call him all the time, Vola Tay, wouldn't surprise me if he rattles off 20 straight at some point and he gets the win too. So I'm going to go C4. I think it's going to be very close regardless. Now, this next matchup, unfortunately, I've only broken down Reese's games. I have not seen Keon play. I think I watched him play in a 2v2. with Rob, but I haven't broke down any of his 1v1. So I'm going to disappoint you guys and probably just say, I'm going to say Keon based on what I've heard. But I mean, it's weird making a prediction on a player you haven't seen play. So look, actually, you know what? This could just go, this is a coin toss for me. So I'm going to say Reese because I've broken down his game, but he's got some major holes on defense. So if he's playing defense, if he's patched up some of those holes, and then also if he's taken from what he did in that lat game, I think he figured something out later on, how to get downhill, how to force the defense to defend. I think Reese has a good opportunity here too. So it wouldn't surprise me if Reese gets the win this next game. Brothers, that's what I mean. This card is so good. Dayday versus Lat. I think these two are this is such a good matchup. Mainly because like Dayday plays anyone, and we've seen his growth and improvement over all of the games we've broken down. Honestly, I've probably broken down more of his games than anyone else on the channel, and that's mainly because he also sent quite a few of them to us to watch. And you guys know how I feel about Lat's game. Like, if I could teach anyone how to play basketball, I would be teaching you to play like Lat, like a scorer's mentality of like being efficient, straight line drives, getting to your spots, playing the mini games like at the elbow, having your counters. And then we saw his workout, and he literally works exactly on all those things. This is a great matchup. So I feel like Dayday is it's more up to Dayday if he wins or loses. Meaning, we know what Lat's going to do. That's the beauty about playing efficient. Like, we can know what to expect from Lat. Like, it would really shock me if he just doesn't score, if he's just missing shots, because he's got a scorer's mentality. He knows how to get to spots on the floor. And we know defensively, like, he thinks the same way on defense. Like, he forces players to certain spots on the floor. The difference with Dayday is he can do everything, but sometimes that can be a weakness. But we've seen, again, his growth over the last however many games we've watched. We've probably broken down 20 or so of it, 15 games of him. He's improved every single time. So if he's able to hit enough three-pointers from the top of the key, just without the dribble, if he's able to hit enough of those to force Lat to play up on him, and then he can use his superpower, which is downhill Dayday, I think he's in control. That doesn't mean, this is tough, that doesn't mean he's going to win. So hopefully you can understand what I mean by that. I think this is in Dayday's hands, whether he wins or loses. But because of that, I think I'm going to go with Lat. Like, we just know what we're going to get. With Dayday, it's like, man, he could be hitting a couple of those shots and it changes the whole trajectory of the game, or he's missing and things get really tough for him and it's an uphill battle for downhill Dayday. The next game, Rob versus DA. You know, this is a little bit like the Keon Reese matchup for me, as in I've seen Rob play a ton of games and we know what to expect from him. But DA, it's throwing a bunch of darts at the wall and just seeing where they land, blindfolded, just seeing where they land. It's an interesting one, right? I actually think this is very reminiscent to the Nas Briscoe game. I think there's so much weighing on both of these players' reputations. Like, Rob can't lose this game. He can't lose this game. He's arguably number one right now in the space. Him and Nas, you know, are jockeying for that number one spot. He loses this game, like, does he go to? I don't know what happens. I don't know how you figure out the rankings from there. So I think because of that, like, I think he knows this, and he hasn't played many one-on-ones this year. So, I think Rob understands the moment. I think he understands what, like, this means for the not just the community, but for himself and his reputation. I think he's locked in. I think he's ready to go. The difference here, DA being a wild card of, if this was before the Nas Briscoe game, I would say Rob wins handily. I would say Rob wins by 15, 20 points. But DA's had a chance to do some research now. He's had a chance to see Nas Briscoe. He's had a chance to understand the one-on-one space a little bit better. And this is no knock, like talking about professionals. I think I made a comment on that Trey Burke and Nesco post, and I was like, I'll take Nesco. And people are like, you're bugging. Trey Burke is a bucket. Obviously, I'm not trying to discredit professional players. Like, I played overseas. Like, I played professional. I get it. I just understand it's a different game. It's a different sport. When we played one-on-ones, it was one-on-one spots to 7. Maybe it was 5 dribbles, 3 dribbles, 0 dribbles, 8 seconds, whatever. Playing to 30 by ones and twos and threes, playing to 30, that's insane. That's insane. That's like, it takes another level of conditioning. And then when you're playing against someone who does this, like this is their full-time job, anytime someone is one of the best in the world at what they do, you can't just think you're going to jump into their territory and dominate straight away. So if DA wins this, yes, he's more than capable of winning because we see what he's done overseas. If he wins this, though, I have massive respect because that means he took this serious. He understands the one-on-one space and he did his research and he prepared. The fact that is he 35? I think they said 35 or 36. I mean, he's my age, and I would not play some of these guys. And you guys have been asking me to get out there and play with them. I just can't physically do what I used to do. Rob is in his prime. Rob is in his prime. So, DA doing his research. If he's first couple possessions, if we see he's up, forcing Rob to drive, and he's willing to do that for 30 points, DA has a chance. Not a big chance, but he's got a chance. If he's playing Rob like a normal player, and I think he's played against shooters like this. I know I'm taking a long time on this prediction, but I think it's the most important matchup to talk about. If he plays up on him, because I'm sure DA's played against some elite shooters in the world and understands how you have to guard them, then that shows that he's ready and he's willing to go to 30 points and forcing Rob to beat him in a different way. Got a chance. I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. I got Rob winning by 10, around 10. Again, I don't do exact predictions, but I think it's going to be a 3-4 possession game. Lastly, but not leastly, for $25,000, we got Cam versus Moon. Also, I just realized I might have stuff in my teeth. I just got done eating and I haven't brushed my teeth. So if so, let me live. But Moon versus Cam. This is a weird one for me, mainly because most of Cam's games that I watched are the older ones, right? And I remember the first video I watched and he was sweeping up the floor. So I was like, who's this floor sweeper? Didn't realize he was a hooper. So then we started watching his games and I gained a ton of respect for him because he can ball out. So we call him floor sweeper Cam. And then Moon, I think Moon's got to be one of the most requested players we have on our channel to review. And he's probably the first couple breakdowns I did were of Moon. So I've seen a ton of his games, ton of Cam's games. And I can't call it. I can't call the game. And this is why I say it's a weird one. Because Moon almost always has a comeback victory. He's like losing at half, and then if the game will go on for 14 hours, and then he somehow wins in the end. I don't think that works in this game. Like, I feel like if Moon is behind, for him, it'll be like, yep, this is got him right where I want him. But I think Cam understands that too. I think Cam will understand how important it is to close out this game against Moon if he does get up. I think if Cam can get a 7-point lead at some point, I think he wins. If Moon can somehow figure out a way to actually not be down 7 points at halftime, I think he wins. I think this is one of those weird ones where it sucks because this game actually means so much. Again, 25,000 is one thing, but if Moon or Cam, whichever one loses, they're going to be knocked down quite a bit. I feel it's going to be really hard for them to get back to where they are. What are they? They're in the top 10, arguably top 5, just outside the top 5 even if they lose, it's going to be really tough to get back to that spot. Whoever wins, however, really has a legitimate claim to that top 5 spot. Like really, really has an argument there. So I think it does mean a lot for both of them. And I do think it comes down to whoever's up at halftime. If Cam can be up 7 points at halftime, I think he wins. If Moon can be close at halftime or ahead, I think he wins. So yeah, I think I'm going to go with Cam just because how much he's been improving over the last few games we've watched, but just this year in general. I hate going against Moon, but I'm going to go with Cam, and I think it's going to be around 5 points or so. I think it's going to be a 2-possession game. So, yeah, I'm interested to see what you guys' thoughts are. Let me know how accurate you think I've got it, or I know you guys have probably watched a bunch of other predictions, so let me know if I'm like way off from what other people are saying or pretty accurate, but these are my gut feelings, and like I said, I can't call it. I don't feel as confident with these as I did with the OTD predictions because I've watched those guys play in person, and there's so much more you can get when you're there in person, and I can analyze a lot more things. You can have conversations with the players and see what their mindset is. With this one, it's just me watching them on camera and just making a lot of assumptions. So, but that's our job. That's what we do. We make guesses. We try to make accurate predictions. So you guys can go on, what is it? Prize Picks and gamble away all your money, basically. Just kidding. Don't do that. But yeah, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think down below, and yeah, see you in the next one.